Why did people stop having children? If you look at a world map through the lens of fertility, a clear pattern emerges. The richer and more urbanized a country is, the fewer children it has. This is not a coincidence. Let's start with the most obvious factor, money. In the 1960s, a child in a developed country was relatively inexpensive for a family. Education was often free, housing affordable, healthcare not ruinous. One working parent could support a family with 3 or 4 children. Today, everything is different. In the United States, raising one child to the age of 18 costs a middle-class family around $230,000, not including university. With university, at least $300,000. In South Korea, the situation is even harsher. Education there is a cult. An average family can spend up to 40% of its income on the education of one child. In Seoul, where housing costs astronomical sums, young couples simply do not see how they can give a child a decent future. In 2023, a South Korean sociologist said in an interview with Bloomberg, "Young people here are not against children, they are against the poverty that comes with children." Housing is a separate story. In London, the average flat price is 12 times the average annual income. In Tokyo, 11 times. If 30 years ago, a person at 25 could buy a home and start a family, today at 25, you are paying off a student loan and renting a room. At the same time, the role of women has changed. In the 1980s, in most developed countries, fewer than half of women worked. Today, it is about 70%. Their income is critically important. Without it, a mortgage is impossible. But the labor market is still structured as if the worker has no children. Maternity leave is short or unpaid. Childcare is expensive or unavailable. In Japan, there is even a specific term, matahara, short for maternity harassment. Discrimination against women who go on maternity leave or are simply planning to have a child. They may be hinted that pregnancy is an unjustified burden on the team, transferred to less prestigious positions, or simply dismissed. And all this in a country where fertility is already at a critically low level. Women often lose their careers after maternity leave. As a result, the choice is often between a career and children. France and Scandinavia tried to change this. They introduced long-paid maternity leaves, childcare subsidies, and tax benefits. Fertility there did increase somewhat to about 1.7 children per woman, but it is still insufficient because it is not just about money. Values have changed. For previous generations, a family with children was the classic life script. Today, it is one option, not a mandatory program. People want to travel, develop, try different things, and children are a responsibility that consumes time, money, and freedom. In 2019, young people aged 18 to 29 inches, the US, who do not plan to have children were surveyed. 56% answered, "I just don't want to." Not because of money or career, just don't want to. It is a choice. Another factor is uncertainty about the future. Young people grew up in an era of crises. The 2008 financial crisis, the pandemic, climate disasters. Many are not sure the world will be safe. A movement called birth strike even emerged on social media. People refuse to have children because of the climate crisis. One participant told The Guardian, "I don't want to bring a child into a world that is burning." Cultural factors also play a role. In East Asia, perfectionism exerts pressure. It is not acceptable to have children just like that. You have to give a child the best. If you are not sure, it is better not to have one at all. In Europe and America, individualism plays a role. Personal freedom competes with the idea of a large family. It becomes a vicious circle. Cities become more expensive, and people postpone having children. Fertility falls, the economy ages. As it ages, uncertainty grows. And uncertainty is yet another reason not to have children. Governments are trying to turn this around. South Korea has spent more than $200 billion over 16 years. Benefits, housing, subsidies, incentives. But fertility only keeps falling. Hungary, under President Orban, launched an aggressive policy. Families with 3 children are exempt from income tax for life. They receive subsidies for cars and housing. Fertility rose slightly, but it still does not reach the level at which the population stops shrinking, because people do not have children because the state will pay. They have children when they feel they have stability, time, support, and when they want to. And there are fewer and fewer such people, but the economy still operates by the rules of a different world. A world where there are many young people, few pensioners, and each generation is larger than the previous one. Where the system can be generous because an army of future workers will pay for it. But that army no longer exists, while the obligations remain, and they are enormous.